Welcome to the MOH Show, episode 4.
And we're back.
Yes, sir. I'm Aiden, joined with Tyrone.
Meow.
Israel.
I needed to do it to him, but I couldn't think of one.
Got Skylar on production. And of course, time for the Money Shot, boys.
Money shot.
Get your glass in the audience. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
We heading for sushi tonight.
Oh,
It's a good episode. It's
yes,
a good
sir.
episode. All right, so while I'm cleaning up here, I want to hit you guys with a scenario, right?
Okay.
The inspiration of this is Mr. Beast, but he, of course, isn't the first one to think of this.
Yeah.
Would you press a button, kill a random person on Earth for 10
I
grand?
didn't even know what it was.
I like pressing
He
buttons.
just wants to kill
My
somebody.
fault. I just like pressing buttons. You said a random person on Earth for 10 grand.
10 grand, random person.
No.
Nah, I'm good.
I agree.
No.
Okay.
10,000 is not enough to kill a random person. Like,
No.
motherfuckers that saying yes, I'm like, how broke are you?
I'm not
Actually,
that
how
heartless,
broke are you?
You know,
Yeah,
I'm not that
honestly.
heartless.
Yeah. Okay, so
we met.
So
No,
we
so what's the price?
the price?
I'll let you start, Tyrone.
What
want me to
distance would you
start?
go?
Generally, I don't think I would, regardless. Honestly.
Okay,
You say
I'm
that,
now
but
going
like-
to convince you to press the button. I'm now going to convince you.
Alright.
What's your number?
I would say in the millies.
In the
Somewhere
millies.
In the millies.
The millies.
Somewhere.
Okay.
It's a random person, though.
Yeah, but look.
Random. There's 8 billion people on
Regardless?
Earth now. 8 billion.
Yeah.
We just hit 8 billion.
I would say
some.
the
I would
millies.
say some crazy stuff. Yes, Chinese person that they pressing that button 10 times over. They don't care. That's what they do, anyways.
Huh?
Don't worry about it. No, generally, I just don't think I would. Mainly just because I just don't want to kill nobody. I don't care if it's somebody I don't know. I just don't. I'm good.
You're not doing it for 100?
No.
100 grand?
No.
All right. I show you 10
Okay,
mi-
but like it's in a briefcase in front of you. You can see it. Do you know how much 100,000 looks in front of you?
A lot?
That's actually
That's
not
a lot.
That's stacks
Yeah.
of money.
Yeah.
100 grand isn't a lot, but if it's in front of you, to kill a random 8 billion people, 1 out of 8 billion,
Okay.
100 grand, you're not pressing it.
No. I'm not pressing it. You pressing it, Scar?
Hey,
That's his answer. That's his answer.
I think me and him are in the same
real
boat here.
low.
Okay, I'm willing to play odds 1 in 8 billion, right?
Okay.
See, it gets different though, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I want people that are watching as well,
Yeah.
right? Would you press it though? Let's say $1 billion. Actually, no. Let's lowball it for right now. Okay,
Okay.
$10 million, and it's someone in your city.
The answer is still gonna be no because you said $1 billion and I'm not going.
No,
you already said the billion.
The billion's way.
No, it's too late.
No.
It's too late.
The
You
billion.
said
The billion's for another question.
Okay.
I'm saying the billion's for a completely different question. I'm
Okay.
saying 10 million for someone in your city, which raises the stakes because it could be someone you know or someone that you really know, like in your family, right?
Yeah.
10 million.
How many people do you know in Las Vegas?
I'm just saying, like,
There's like, what?
I don't know how many people
20
live
million
here.
people?
I don't know how many people live here.
I searched it up before. It's like 20 million.
Okay, let's just go with 20 million.
Wait, for real?
I'm just saying it raises it because
Yeah.
it's from 1 in 8 billion of someone you knowing
Yeah.
basically to now 1 in
Yeah.
20 million.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
For $10 million.
For 10 million.
For
I
10
got
million.
it. I got it. I'm an instant.
I'm pressing
millionaire.
it.
I'm an instant millionaire. You know, I mean,
You know what you can do with 10 million? You know how
Okay.
much you can invest? Do you know how much you
Yeah.
can multiply that money?
and then
Okay.
give
Look,
it to
look.
good causes.
That's the
You get
difference,
me?
right? Like 10,000, you can't do much with invest wise. But now you're getting 10 million. It's like, okay, you can actually make
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
You can make a lot of money off that 10 million.
Yeah. All right. Throwing
And it would go for good causes too, you know, because
good causes.
Okay, now
Laundromats. I'm opening laundromats. Look. All right. Look. Dang. For 10 milli.
Okay.
No. It's too. I think for somebody in
500 million for someone
Okay.
in your zip code.
Whoa.
500 million.
500
Mom,
million
I'm
for
sorry.
someone that lives in your zip code.
I'm sorry.
Keep in
Mama.
mind, us three, we live in
might have to.
densely populated areas. It's
Yeah.
not like we live out in the middle of
Yeah, no,
nowhere.
fair.
So there's a lot of people that live in your zip code.
Somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
500 million
Somewhere
for
in
someone that lives in your
Illinois.
zip code.
Some small town.
Yeah.
Illinois.
Someone that lives in your zip code, 500
Okay.
million.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Right? Don't make that face. Get rid of that face. Hear me out.
What?
Okay. Okay. Wait. Okay. Let me throw out religion for a second. Right? Not including religion. I'm pressing the button. Mom, I'm sorry if it's you.
1
I hope
billion
it's not.
for someone in your immediate family.
1 billion?
1 billion. And by immediate family, I mean like, we'll go immediate is first cousins. 1 billion.
Wait.
Where's your morality at?
Immediate family, right? So that means.
Well,
does that include-
immediate. This isn't immediate, I should say. Anyone within your first cousins. So that's first cousins,
Brother,
grandmas, grandpas, uncles, aunts, family.
Do we choose?
No, it's random. It's completely random. Which means there's a very high chance it could be your parents, right? Or your sibling, right? But 1 billion. You gotta be careful because your sibling's right there. So
I know.
I mean, if you're
I'm not taking
like,
it.
I'm pretty sure he's
I'm
probably
not
going to press that
taking
button.
it.
I'm not going to lie.
I'm not taking that. Not
What you
even for
think?
$1
You pressing
billion.
that for a billion? For a billion?
Fuck.
You gonna let Israel take that hit?
Nah,
Fuck.
I'm not.
okay,
Not a billion.
the furthest I'm willing in the questions I asked, just to set the record straight, is the what I say 10 million for someone in your city.
Yeah.
That's the farthest I'm going.
Fair.
I'm not killing someone in my zip code.
Yeah.
I'm not killing
It's
someone
too-
in
yeah,
my
it's too
family.
close.
Yeah,
That's
no.
too close.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's too close. Right. The furthest I'll go is that 10 million for someone in my city. I'm gonna give it a
Yeah.
stack. Because you have to visualize it like this, right? It's not just like, 10 million. It's like, in my head, it's stacked in front of you. Like you
Stacked
are
in front of
you
you?
are with the buttons,
Okay.
and there's stacks of money in front of you, like literal
Yeah.
money. It's not just like 10 million is gonna get added to your bank account. It's like some number.
so if it stacks in money
it's
in front of you,
of you,
if it's in front of you,
like
I
how
can
would-
understand.
like
the-
that temptation, right?
Yeah, I can understand. I'm not playing footsies with you.
No, I thought it came off my pad.
Oh. If it's like stacked in front of you, then I understand the 10 million. I'm not gonna lie. I understand.
Because like actually having it in
Just-
front of you is way different. Like just
Yeah.
thinking like, oh, if there's 2 buttons, do I press it? It's like if that money's in front of it, like actually there,
Yeah.
I find it very hard for people to believe that, or for me to believe that people would say, no.
No.
I know how broke these motherfuckers are. You pressing that button.
Fair.
You pressing that button.
For a second.
You can do a lot
And I
with
mean,
10
to be
million.
fair, people have gotten rich doing way worse.
Yeah.
I think all of these millionaires have bodies, and not sexual bodies. I'm talking bodies under their floorboards.
Hey,
To get
skeletons
rich.
in the closet.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting morality. test.
Okay, no. Genuinely, the only way I would do that is if we don't consider religion into this. Because considering religion into it, I would.
Well, I think
don't
you have to because
Yeah.
what it's just in the real world. You have to consider religion or whatever you follow.
I mean, if that's the case, then
because
I'm
it's in the
gonna be
real
honest with
world.
you.
It's
I'm
not
gonna be
something-
honest with you.
Like
then.
imagine in
No.
real life right now, I just stacked up 10 milli and with 2 buttons in front of you.
You
With
can look
everything
at me
you've
some-
learned
you
in your
can-
life, everything
Okay.
you hold.
In that case, looking at religion, I'm gonna be honest with you. You can look at me, you cannot trust me. No,
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to stand
Yeah,
against
you're-
you.
you're a bigger
I
man.
have to set a
You're a
morality.
bigger man
No.
than
You're a
I
bigger
am.
man than me.
I'm
yeah.
not pressing no button
I
for
don't
no
know.
amount.
I don't
For
know.
10 million, I'll take it.
It could
But
be
a
some
billion.
ratchet chick in Las Vegas, bro. All you know.
some
I mean,
freaking-
true. However, comma.
We do not condone violence.
Yeah, no. The funniest thing about that
There's no
Mr. Beast
violence.
tweet was like everyone asking like, "Is this gonna be a video?" Like,
He's gonna make this a video. He's gonna make it a video.
like,
Likely.
yeah, like
Actually,
You just see Mr. Beast. Hey guys, hey, I have a button.
who knows? It's probably on the dark web
Today I have a
somewhere.
button.
He's probably done it.
yeah, like
who knows?
He, like people are like, "Please do not make this an actual video."
Holy, he has the means to do it. Holy.
What's that YouTube? That meat lovers? No, not me.
Me Canyon.
Me can't.
Christ. Christ. Why'd you have to bring him up?
Kane is great, bro.
God, fuck me,
This
Canyon.
man is a horror film. Something has to be wrong with this.
Throw your panties to the closet. That's the funniest one. The Me Canyon. That is the Monsters Inc. one is the funniest one.
Did you see the Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory one?
I don't think so.
Bro, I could have, if I remember correctly, they even had McDonald's in there or something
No,
like
the
that.
Ronald McDonald
Like,
one.
yeah, oh yeah, the one
No,
McDonald's.
I stand
crazy.
by the
Yeah,
Ed, Ed, and Eddie
Yeah,
one
so
being the
this is my-
scariest.
this is my
Oh no, with the Jawbreaker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's fair.
Jawbreaker one is the scariest one.
That's fair.
I swear to God, that shit. That's the Ed, Ed, and Eddie one. Where like they rip the jaws off of all the characters and then they make the ultimate jawbreaker. That Ed, Ed, and Eddie one is actually cursed.
Bro, he needs help.
How do you think of shit like this? How
You have to be demented.
How demented do you have to be to even think of the shit?
He was tripping on acid.
I swear to
Actually,
God,
you have to be doing drugs.
You have to be on
something.
psychedelics. There's no
know?
way. You have to be. You have to be. What was the other one? Yeah, the Monsters Inc. one. That's not demented. I can see how
it's
someone
kinda-
thinks
it's
of
kinda
that.
funny, I'm
I
not
think
gonna
if,
lie.
I think if someone could think of that sober.
Yeah,
I 100% agree with that. You
Because
could think of that one sober.
What was the green one's name?
Mike Wazowski.
Mike. Wasn't Mike behind the
Yeah, the
curtains?
curtain, yeah. Like that one, I completely understand, right? But the Ed, Ed and Eddie one, and like, what's the other? There's another really messed up one. There's so many, but like, how do you think of that
Honestly,
sober?
Me Cam reminds me of Happy Tree Friends.
Oh.
Yeah, he definitely got inspiration from like those
Yeah.
crazy, but like,
Nah.
he takes it to the next level. Though.
If you've never watched Happy Tree Friends, and you're not, I can't say that. Hold, what's the best way to put this? It's not PG-13. I'll say that.
you remember
It's not
watching-
PG-13.
Happy Tree Friends.
That's
First
like a rated
episode.
R type.
First episode.
See,
It's
I was-
bad.
Happy Tree Friends is fucked, right? But
Oh,
I
yeah.
think Me Canyon hits home because it's using characters that like
Yep, that
you
you're
know,
actually- yeah.
you know, like Happy Tree Friends, you know those characters are fucked.
Yeah.
But like seeing Ed, Ed and Eddie do that shit, or like
Is
you know any of the other
bad.
characters that are like Ronald McDonald, like these actual like good characters, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Even though wasn't Ronald McDonald charity like a scam or something? Anyways.
Well,
I don't know. Actually, I'm not
I
going to
don't
continue that. I'm going to
remember
get picked up by him. Jesus Christ, I'm not going to
He
continue
gonna be
that.
waiting in my room.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, no, I think that hits so different because it's like actually characters you like.
Yeah.
And you're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Has he made a Lilo and Stitch one? I hope not.
Probably.
Lilo
not.
and Stitch is
I
like
feel
the
like-
last
I feel like he
good
has to-
childhood thing I have to hold
I
on
feel
to.
like he probably has some morality where you don't mess with kids.
Okay,
Like Lilo,
probably.
you know, you don't mess with the kid.
Hopefully. Because holy.
I mean, Ed, Ed and Eddie are technically kids, but like they're like teenagers
yeah,
and
I
like
get
they
what you
act
mean.
like adults.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to see my boy Stitch be demented.
yeah,
Because
no.
Stitch is like one of my favorite
Oh,
cartoon
you know what Me
characters,
Canyon
bro.
one's hilarious is the baby one.
Yeah, let's
go.
go.
That Me Canyon one is so funny, fuck.
Holy.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of Me Canyon. I don't know.
He's
Hey, I mean, respect. He's the only one that does it, so respect.
Yeah.
truth.
Okay, switching rails. Okay,
Yeah.
for all the viewers, I'm
New
sorry. We are switching roles. We're going from demented cartoons to actually demented in real life. Okay.
Yeah.
Recently, I think it was Monday. That's when I saw the article. Was Monday.
Yeah.
A dude jumped off a bridge in Disneyland. To kill himself. Basically, he was suicidal. His backstory is that he was a principal for a school for like 26 years, 50-year-old man. So like, why is this dude committing suicide? Right.
Yeah.
So when I first saw the news article, it had to do something with men's mental health and women, against that mental health, whatever the case may be. By the way, did you know November was Men's Mental Health Month?
No.
I bet you didn't. Yeah. So, anyways,
Huh.
yeah, very interesting.
Interesting how it doesn't get brought up.
Yeah, very very interesting. So, I'm sorry to all the viewers. Trigger warning, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm about to read the suicide note from this guy, and I want to get your guys' reactions. He posted this on Facebook,
Yeah.
and then he jumped off the bridge. So,
With that disclaimer, just saying, if you are thinking any type of way like that, please call somebody.
100%.
Don't just go
Yeah.
through it by yourself.
Yeah.
Call somebody. Somebody's always gonna be there for you.
Yeah. And this is a real problem with men because men do not feel as if there are people for them or they don't want to look for help even. I think it's not that men don't have people for them. It's the fact that there's a stigma against men finding help. Men are supposed to. You're supposed
Tough
to
it
figure
out.
this out yourself.
Tough it out.
How
Man up.
dare you? How
Man up, figure it
dare
out.
you look for
Yeah.
help, right?
Yeah.
But that goes into a whole nother conversation. But anyways, please keep this up for the least amount of time possible, purely because I don't want viewers to see a fucking suicide note. I'll read it, but don't keep it on screen for very long because I feel bad leaving a fucking suicide note on screen. Okay, so I'm gonna read it. There's 4 pictures. I'm gonna read it as fast as possible.
Okay.
I hate when people leave this earth with so many unanswered questions, so I hope this provides some insight and perspective. This is my wife, Marlena. There, he attached a photo, but of course they're not releasing that photo for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Yes, you heard me correctly. Most of you don't know this, but we've been privately married for 3.5 years. Marlena and I love and adore each other, and our relationship has been amazing up until recently. Unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, she and I got in a heated argument at home in front of the girls. Tempers were flared and strong words were engaged between us. However, never in this exchange did I hit, slap, or hurt Marlena in any manner, nor did I touch the girls. I have and never will. I love the girls like my own, and they know that, as everyone else who truly knows me. So I guess Marlena had kids before this marriage, this private marriage, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the guy, so I don't know why they kept their marriage private. That's a whole nother weird thing in this story. But unfortunately, Marlena's anger got the best of her that night, and she called the police, which landed me in jail that night. Yes, me, a man who has never hit or harmed anyone in his life. I think it's safe to say that Marlena truly regrets making that call because the events of that night have completely unraveled both of our lives. I am on the brink of losing my job, as I am out on administrative leave until my case is resolved. Remember, this guy's a principal. So as soon as you get thrown in jail as a principal, you're getting put on administrative leave. However, the legal system is extremely flawed, especially against men and fathers, and it's sickening how quickly and easily an innocent man can be thrown in jail based on zero evidence or proof. In fact, take a look at the attached screenshots of Marlena's message to my friend about the matter. I don't have those. She too had no intention on having that night come this far. She knows that I would never hurt her or the girls, and she too has been trying to clear my name with little success. Again, the legal system is deeply flawed, to say the least. So here I am writing my final Facebook message to all of you. I need all of you to know that I am a gentle, kind, loving, and sincerely good man. That has been destroyed by one unfortunate night. It is true. It is really unfortunate. This is not me. This is not something that I have ever thought would happen to me. With all that said, I have truly loved educating and leading thousands of students and families as principal of FVSD for the past 21 plus years. I have made so many wonderful connections with families over the years, and those who know me closely know how much I care for my students, staff, and families. Please remember me for all the good I've brought to the world of education. To all my musician friends, thank you. Thank you for performing the last 30 years. He basically goes into his final performance and stuff like that, and how
Dang, so he really went
he
in
performed
deep.
the night before, and that was his final performance. There is so much more I want to say, but I'm going to spend the rest of the day reaching out to those close to me and let them know how much I love them. This is not an ideal way to go out, but at least I get the chance to say some final words to those who I love and adore. Take care, everyone. Please, please, please be kind to one another. Treat each other with kindness and grace. There is too much anger in this world, and people need to start treating each other better. What I've shared with you above is a prime example of how anger can really have a long-lasting and extremely dangerous effects on a person's life. Jesus Christ.
I'm
Jeez.
speechless.
Genuinely.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit hit me. I was reading that shit on my break. I was like, God damn. God damn. So there's a few things I want to note on because I've had more time to think about this because I saw it. I'm going to pull it up again. Let me find the screen, the one I was talking about. Okay, so right here, I don't have the screenshots. I'm assuming the messages that he's talking about are talking about the woman being regretful that she called the police. But at the same time, even though I do think emotions go wild sometimes, I don't see how it goes to the point of calling the cops unless something actually happens.
Yeah.
Like, even if he didn't hit them or attack them at all, like he picked up a weapon or something, right?
Yeah.
Just to give that side of the story. Even if she's regretful, I feel like you don't reach the point of calling the cops unless, maybe I'm wrong, but unless something, so I think there is two sides to every story, right?
Yeah.
But in general, even if anything, right, this shows the issue with men's mental health.
Did it on the happiest place
He-
on earth.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Walt Disney is frozen, by the way. And, but he was an educator for 21 years.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind that probably led to his suicide a little bit because being an educator for that long is hell.
Yeah.
Because the school system stinks. But he felt as if, I don't know this dude's life, but it seemed like he had a decent life. He was married for 3.5 years. He was a
That's
principal.
what I don't understand.
Yeah.
And he had one mess up. Keep that in mind that this was a big mess up. Like, he got thrown in jail. Even though I think he would have been able to come back fine if there was no evidence of him doing anything and the wife went back on it. Like, I did not mean for it to go this far. I think he would have been fine to go back to his job. But he came across this boundary in his life. And because men's mental health is so discriminated against, I'll go with, he felt his only option was killing himself. Yeah. He felt his only option was leaving.
There was no direction to turn.
And that there was, but I think men aren't taught that there are multiple directions.
Yeah.
I'm sure he felt as if he was an embarrassment to the wife and the kids. And men aren't, taught at all to redeem themselves. It's more as you mess up once, you're out. Because that's how men are taught. As sad as that is, that's how it is. I'm sure any man can agree on that. The fact that men aren't supposed to mess up. And if you do, you're an absolute and complete failure.
Supposed to be like, what, robots?
Yeah, to an extent. But men aren't taught how to cope with their emotions at all.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that the entire culture is, surrounding that as well, right? We talked about this maybe on a previous show or in private or whatever.
Yeah.
If a man has a problem, he cannot go to another man because it's biological as well. It's culture and biological that if you go to a man with your problems, the men will see you as weak. Mm-hmm. That's how it is. That's biological as well because innately, men are supposed to be alpha.
Yeah.
So you can't show any signs of weakness.
I mean, but what if they have like a real issue and they go like to another guy, like
That's what I'm saying. I think that stigma is dumb. I believe it's very dumb. Mm-hmm. There's some biological there, but it's also the culture. If you go to if you have a close friend that you go to or like a close group, there's not going to be a problem with you as long as they don't have. Let me restart here. If your friend group has a problem with you going to with them with problems, leave that friend group. They are not good people.
Good situation.
They are not good for you.
Nope.
You should surround yourself with people that genuinely want to make sure your mental health is good, right? The sad thing is some people, I don't know if he did, but maybe he didn't have anyone to go to. Who knows? I don't know. He was talking about being in a band and stuff. So it's like you clearly had the bandmates if you needed to.
Yeah.
But as a man, it's very hard to open up.
Yeah. And there's no real good option for you or anybody to really open up to. Like you said, if you don't have a good friend group to open up to at all, who will accept your problems, to help you out, talk you through it, whatever. Because let's say you got a girl. You don't want to open up to your girl. Even though the whole movement right now is like, oh, express your emotions and stuff. No, because then, whether you may not realize it or not, psychologically, you're more now inclined to think less of that person, to think more of the man. Oh, you're not much of a man.
Even if it's subconscious.
Even if it's subconscious.
We have to preface that.
What happened? It's just what happens. You don't want you can't talk to your mom typically because you don't want your mom to see you in that vulnerable, weak state or whatever, right? So, what are your two options now? Father, maybe. I can't really think anything against it right now, personally. And then your friends, your boys or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, and you don't have, let's say, because a lot of times fathers may not be in life, that's true. Vice versa can be true also. But there is no real good option here because you don't want anybody around you to see you as weak or lesser than. And though I don't think it's to a point where you're like, oh, express your emotions like some females or whatever they may make it seem like. I also don't think it's man up, deal with it. There's like a middle ground where you need to be taught, okay, this is what you're feeling, this is how you cope with that, this is how you deal with that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I agree. I think, well, we've talked about this privately as well, which is, and I want to bring it up on the show, which is that middle ground, right?
Yeah.
The whole man up thing is very dangerous.
Yeah.
That shit is very dangerous. But I do think there's a little bit of that exists because I think men as well, you need to be strong. That's the point, right? You need to be strong. And it's less about not showing your emotions and ignoring them and more about finding your way to cope with them, right?
Yeah.
You want to cope with the emotions, not just completely ignore them.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I think the whole woman movement about like men showing emotion and like, oh, we want you guys to open up is men and women experience emotions way differently. I'm not going to speak on the woman. I'm going to purely speak on the man here.
Yeah.
And I want you guys to let me know here if I'm right or wrong. The first emotion any man feels is anger.
Correct.
Immediately anger.
Yeah, fair.
It's whether or not you cope with that anger. Anything happens, like genuinely anything, my first instinct is anger.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, if you are if you're wanting to be successful or you want to be a mature dude, you immediately shut down that anger and think about it.
Yeah.
You don't just let that anger take over you.
Yeah. Make it a drive. in
It
some
could
sense.
literally be something that's sad, right? My immediate thought is anger. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's the first emotion I feel, right? You know, that could be because of testosterone or whatever. Who knows? I don't care about the biological. I'm just saying my personal experience is that if I see, if let's say someone that I know dies, the first thing I feel is anger. It's not even sadness. It's just anger. But then you learn that, okay, that's not anger. It's not supposed to be anger. It's supposed to be sadness.
Yeah.
And you have your own individual way, even if it's subconscious, to align that emotion in the correct way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think there is some truth to the whole man up thing as well, because it's like, as cliche as this is, the world doesn't want men to not cope with their emotions and show it, because it's purely anger straight out the gate.
Yeah.
The world should want men to be aware of their mental health and stuff, but also not show it right away, because it will be a
I
dangerous.
see. So more like being like a stoic man. So where you feel your emotions, but you don't more so react to them. Because with everybody, when you get angry, you can feel it, but it's up to you whether you react to the emotion or you let it pass by, and you'll calm down. But I think Jordan Peterson said it best, where a weak man is the man that doesn't know how to control their emotions, because they're very dangerous.
Yeah.
The man that more so can control their emotions is a more I forgot the last line.
I don't know that one, honestly. The only one that you bringing up Jordan Peterson reminded me is when he, for example, I've heard him say many times, a man should be dangerous, but learn to control it.
Right. Yeah.
Learn to control that dangerousness.
I wish I could finish that quote for you, but I only know that first part as well. But basically, he goes along the lines of saying, a man who controls their emotions is, going to be more successful or going to be, better off, basically.
More happy in general.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I think that's the thing, though, is, I don't know if stoic's the right way, because, the actual definition of stoic, I believe, is, you have no emotion.
Yeah.
I think it's important for a man to have emotions. You just have correctly analyzed your emotions and applied the logic behind it, right?
Right.
You need to be logical about your emotions, and I think that applies to man or woman. Because it's important to analyze your emotions. You can't just go everywhere with them.
Yeah, like a person who burst out in anger.
Yeah,
more so. That's what I mean, like being stoic, where you see, like, you feel the emotion,
Yeah.
but you don't do anything about it. You just breathe.
You think
know?
about it first, right?
Yeah.
And if there's a trouble with like that, I would say breathing techniques do definitely work.
Oh,
You
100%.
know, I feel like if you want to start anywhere, you start with learning how to breathe, because not many people, I feel like, know that there's breathing techniques to calm them down, or to make them more faster at, or, more focused on something.
Yeah. I think. Go. Oh, you were going to say something?
The whole thing I was gonna say honestly was that honestly I didn't realize it until you had said it, but you're right about the first emotion you feeling being anger, because like even for example like when I lose somebody, they pass away and stuff like that, I'm not sad and stuff. I'm like first things first, I feel angry.
Yeah.
Legit, and maybe not at anybody or anything like that. Sometimes I was angry at myself legitly because didn't talk to him enough, didn't do enough, whatever the situation is. But it didn't click in my head really until you said that. I was like, is the spitting
I don't think. Maybe anger. I think anger is like the general term.
Yeah.
But like to explain to women, it's hard.
Yeah.
I've tried to do this before at work and stuff to the other girls on the staff and stuff. Is like that is the first emotion. But I don't know if it's anger, because like I feel like anger has to be directed at something. It's just like the feeling of like heat.
Yeah.
Like irritability.
like just
It's the same. It's the same
upset,
thing as anger. It's the same feeling as
Yeah.
anger. It's just like heat. Like it clogs your brain. It fogs you. It's just like heat.
Yeah.
It's not even necessarily like. It's not even anger, because like you're not angry at anything.
No.
It's literally just like you're just mad. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like a weird feeling.
Like irritated.
Yeah. Yeah, irritated, but like
Kinda.
it's deeper than irritated, because it's like irritated. I'm like, God damn it. But like if someone dies, I'm not saying God damn it. I'm just like, I'm mad. Like
Yeah.
it's like weird.
And it's weird to say angry, just because like I feel like when somebody thinks of angry, like, oh, I want to break something, I want to.
It's not even.
That's not what that. That's
yeah,
not
it's
what
not even
mean
like
at all.
that.
It's not like, oh, I want to hurt someone, I want to do like no. That's
But
not.
if you acted on what you feel in that moment, then it would be anger.
Yeah.
I feel like
Where's the anger coming from?
that's what I'm saying. It's just like that's just like the emotion that immediately hits first.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like the anger just exists. Like that feeling of like clog is just the first thing you feel in any situation.
Yeah.
Which is why it's important to reason with that, even if it's subconscious. Because I feel like when you're young, you have to reason with yourself. But then when you're like our age, it just naturally swaps, or like
Yeah.
you already know how to do it. Your brain already like just deals with it, right?
Yeah.
So it's important to be aware of your emotions, but not completely cut them out, and not necessarily. You want to be aware of them, but you don't want to cut them out, or you don't want to show them 100%, because both are very bad. You kind of want to sit in the middle, where you first reason with them. Okay, is this a reasonable way to feel? Yes. Okay, now I'm going to do something about it. Or should I really be feeling this way? Probably not. I probably should not act on it. So I'm just going to push it to the side, but in a good way. I'm pushing it to the side because I've relieved myself of that feeling, right?
Yeah.
So I think someone said, I think it was Andrew Tate, but this is absolutely, I'm not confirming this, right? I have no idea. But I think he said that's why there's so much men violence in the world, is because it's from the people that can't control it.
I think he did.
You
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
want men showing their emotion. That's why
Yeah.
violence is so high right now, because people are pushing the fact that, we want men to show emotions. Well, this
No,
is
you
what
don't.
happens, like school shootings and stuff, is what happens when a young kid is told to show his
angry,
emotion, but he
upset.
hasn't matured enough to be able to comprehend it yet.
Yeah.
Right? There's so much more that goes into that. I'm not discrediting bullying or anything like that. I'm just saying you want men to be aware of their mental health and emotion, but not completely disregard thinking about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I want men to show their emotion. Yeah, I mean, you really don't. It's not a good thing.
At all.
And it's not being like some weird like, oh, men are the villain. Like we have to be the villain. It's just like that's straight up how it is.
Yeah.
That also, this is what we were talking about earlier. I want to ask you this question.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Are you born into evil, or are you made into evil?
Made.
I was
You didn't have to finish that.
And like,
I don't think
okay,
anybody's
so let's change
necessarily
evil to
born.
violent,
okay. Violent. Yeah.
or is it both? It's nature versus nurture is what this argument is,
Yeah.
right? Nature is basically saying you are born, you are biologically dispositioned, you are chemically predispositioned, that sort of thing, or are you nurtured into that? It was the way you were raised, your environment, poverty, stuff like that. I think it's
I'm gonna have to say.
See, that's the
I'm
thing.
not
Like,
saying raised,
nature
still.
versus nurture is so stupid, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because it's like, how could you say versus? It's nature and nurture, in my
Yeah.
opinion. It's not versus, because both exist at the same time. Because you can make the argument. We were talking about it, that one scientist who did a study on psychopaths. Because you're not a psychopath until you commit a crime.
Mm-hmm.
But all psychopaths have the exact same chemical thing in their brain where like certain, I don't know, whatever, it doesn't turn on or whatever. But the scientist, I can't remember the exact numbers. I think he did it on 50 students or whatever, the brain scan or whatever, and himself. One out of those 100, let's go with 51, were found to, one out of those 51 had the exact same makings of a psychopath. It was the professor. He was the one without the chemical in his brain. But he wasn't considered a psychopath because he never committed a crime to officially call him a psycho, but he had the makings of it.
Yeah.
So in that case, that shows both nature and nurture, because he was chemically predispositioned to be a psychopath, but he became a professor because of the way he was raised.
Yeah.
And he never committed a crime.
Which makes sense because, like, for men, like testosterone and everything, that's a real thing. That's something that's gonna happen for you.
Oh, just remember
because
though,
you're
Avatar director thinks it's a toxin.
Oh,
Remember that.
Oh
Oh,
God,
jeez.
we're not gonna talk about him.
No, we can't.
Ah, sheesh. Anyway,
I honestly thought or think that it's environment. That the environment causes you to.
see, I have to agree just because, yeah, we have like that. We have the. I'm losing my thought.
The chemicals.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But like, for example, you have men who become feminine because of the environment and completely shut that whole side down. Just like, oh, they start like, acting, just all that other stuff like a female and stuff.
Right.
So mainly, I'm gonna have to guess because of the environment. So I don't necessarily. I think it is a little bit of both. But the environment you're raised or grown up in or whatever, I think that has the biggest effect on you than being born as whatever. If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I agree. I think environment plays the biggest role.
Yeah.
But I do think there is something to be said about nature,
Oh, yeah.
too. I 100% agree with you where environment is the biggest. Like, I think about it as like a pie chart, right? Mm-hmm. Environment's probably like 60, 70%. And then, like, the rest of it, whatever you want to call it, like the 30 or 40% is nature or something along those lines, right?
Yeah.
I think environment's definitely the biggest. So, interesting.
What do you think, Scott?
You guys are right, but I was thinking like anybody could be a psychopath. Like they could be raised either from a good home,
And
they'll kill people.
that goes back to it.
True.
Like,
Yeah.
if you're born in like a rich, like how we were talking earlier, like if you come from a rich family, and you still end up doing all these things.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's the thing.
That's the part I can't explain.
Yeah.
They're psychopath billionaires.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I think it was just that all psychopaths had this exact same thing in their head. But just because you don't have that thing doesn't mean you can't be a psychopath.
Yeah.
It was just like all the psychopaths had that same. So if you have that part of your brain that gets shut off or whatever, then you're predispositioned to be a psychopath. But just because you don't have that doesn't mean you can't be a psychopath. Or just because you have that doesn't mean you are going to be a psychopath
Is it like
either.
feeling for other human beings?
It's whatever, is it the amygdala or whatever? It's the one that has empathy, like your chemical
Yeah.
Oh,
empathy in it
Oh,
or whatever.
None of that. I'm not that deep into it.
I mean, fair.
I want to learn a lot more about it, but like, honestly.
Psychology is the best subject in school.
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely want to learn about psychology.
100% recommend, like, even if you aren't going to college, or you are in high school and you don't want to take psychology in high school is a joke. So, I mean, but, just research psychology and not just like look up YouTube videos like here are 7 things to know like about psychology. Like genuinely read like studies done and stuff because like psychology is the most important subject because it deals with actual human.
And I'll tell you, it's gonna come really useful in the real life world. Real world.
Psychology is one of the only subjects that I will say is actually useful because all you deal with in real life is people.
Yeah.
In every job. You want to be a manager? People. You want to, be a personal trainer? People. You want to be a scientist? Guess what? You're standing in front of people doing conferences all the time. You want to be a salesman. You're going to have to know sociology. You're going to have to know psychology, the human brain. Is the only subject that can legitimately be applied to every single field you're in.
Yep.
Even if you're doing something online, you have to know the psychology of your viewers and like stuff like that when it comes to color and perception of things and stuff like that.
But I guess big corporations don't understand that.
Big corp. Shit. I think, do you have anything to say regarding?
No, honestly, I'm in a complete fog from that freaking note.
Oh,
so
yeah,
ever
fair.
since you
Fair.
read that, honestly, my brain shut down. I was
Yeah.
like, holy.
So the one thing I want to talk about before we end this show is speaking of, I guess, psychology is going to be what I believe is the most important thing in anyone, but especially men that want to be successful, want to do anything with their lives, even women too, 100%. But just as a man, specifically towards men, is going to be self-confidence, right? Self-confidence is easily the most important thing. And that's all psychology as well. Guess what? You study psychology, you can look into everything self-confidence. Boom. Yeah. There you go. But too bad psychology, like, trying to get a job with a psychology degree is basically hell on earth. That sucks. I wouldn't get a degree in it. I'm just saying study it. But the most important thing is motivation, which comes from having self-confidence. And the one thing that I always preach is going to be, in order to improve self-confidence, you have to challenge yourself. And with those challenges will come failure.
Yeah.
Right? We talked about it earlier in the week, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on it and say what you think. But you cannot be afraid of failure if you want to make any progress in life whatsoever.
I think that's something that we talked about earlier. Literally early in the week that, we literally cannot be afraid of failure because only from failure we learn and we experience and we process it and we win.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It's that simple. It's just experiencing those losses, and you don't even have to put it as a loss. You literally can just put it as a learning experience.
Exactly.
It's the way I apply it into the market as well, into the stock market, to where it's not a loss, but what did I learn from this? This is a learning experience, and each time, I apply that not only to the market but to everyday life, and I guess it's just the way your mind perceives something. If you take it as a loss, that's how you're gonna feel. It's gonna make you feel like an L.
Because your entire life is going to be, you're taught to not take losses, right?
Yeah.
So if you perceive something in your head that is a failure, even if it's small, like, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, even if it's a small failure, couldn't think of an example fast enough. Yeah, like failing a test, right? If you think about it as a loss, you will be afraid of it. But if you change the perception of your head into, okay, this is a learning experience, I'll grow from it.
Yep.
If that's the thing, right? If your main goal is growth, I think automatically you'll think of failures as learning experiences. But if you are locked in a mindset where like you don't care about growth, you're just going with the flow, you'll always think about losses as something you need to run from almost.
Yeah, and you're not going to truly enjoy the process that, whatever you're doing, like working out or a skill that you're trying to learn. You're not going to truly enjoy that process if all you're looking for is the end value goal. Yeah. And that's something that's very important to me.
Yeah.
Is the process, not the end value goal. It should be for everybody, honestly.
Yeah.
Unless if it's like a sport. I mean, even then.
Yeah.
What do you know?
Yeah, 100%.
anytime you lose, for example, like you said in sports, anytime you lose, the goal is to keep trying to improve, get better. You're gonna come out with a win eventually. You know, just keep going. I mean, but honestly, like when it comes down to it, I've talked to you guys a little bit about it, about how, for example, for me, right, I want to succeed so bad at what I'm doing or whatever that I don't want to fail, and that's where it becomes an issue because that starts to cloud me a little too much, to a point where it's like, if I fail, I'm never gonna succeed. Like that's where it gets bad. Honestly, is when that like your need to succeed makes you scared to fail, in the best way I can put it.
Yeah, you know, that's something like mentally you have to change, right?
Yeah.
Because like it's because you failed doesn't mean you're not going to succeed.
Right.
Right. It's not like there's two paths. You either fail or you succeed. It's like, no, you're going to fail and then you're going to succeed, and then it's a winding road of like ups and downs, right?
It's like shooting your shot with 100 girls. One of them's got to
you know? Hey, one of them got to go in, bro. It's got to happen.
Yeah, it's like, you know, if you're doing like sales calls, one of them's bound to, you know, say yes. Mm-hmm. So it's like failure.
Yeah. I mean, for the love of, who was it? I want to say it was who wrote Harry Potter?
Why can't I remember their name? I'm so dumb.
J.K.
Rowling. You're right.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
I think it was Harry Potter, right?
Yeah.
It was either that or so. I think it was Harry Potter though. Honestly, one of the most well-known, famous books, movie series, whatever. Right? How many times did she get turned down for a publishing? How many times?
Yeah.
Hella times, and all it took was one to take a chance.
And it just like that.
See, but that's what I'm saying, right? People don't look at that. People only care about the end goal.
Yeah.
Every single successful people ever has said that you cannot be afraid of failure. You should like strive for it almost.
Yeah.
But yet people don't listen to that. And they fail once and they give up.
Yeah. Another reason to that is a lack of patience.
Yeah. 100%.
Honestly.
We live in a society that has no. We live in a society.
I mean, when you live where everything you want is on your phone or wherever you want, you can just get it in a heartbeat. I feel like it's gonna make your mentality like that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
There's not much you can. It's like what you say. You have to like change that part of you.
Yeah.
Which it's gonna be hard.
Oh, that's a lot of
doubt.
work. Changing anything about you is not easy.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing you can do. But why would you cheat yourself, right? Why would you, instead of working on yourself, right? The most important thing, because at the end of the day, sad as this is, when you're on your deathbed, all you have left is you and some God, right? That's all you have left.
Yeah.
You are the only person that you rely on, really. So why would you cheat yourself and not try to change yourself, even if it's hard? Oh, I remember, because people are lazy. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Before we go any further, I just want to mention before we go too far from it, there was a quote, right? I have it saved on my phone. Jim Irsay, he is the Indianapolis Colts owner. His family has made the Colts. Okay, this man's like 80 years old. He was on a podcast that I watch, or a show that I watch, and they were just talking about like him being a billionaire, right? Because all the NFL owners are extremely successful people. And this quote I have saved on my phone, he said, if you can't fail at your goals, they aren't big enough. If you're facing goals that you aren't failing at and you're comfortable with achieving that goal, they aren't big enough if you can't fail at them.
Yeah, I like that.
Here's a better quote. If you knew that you can dream whatever you want on this world and you knew that you couldn't fail, how far would you dream? I feel like that's a better quote for that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, at that point, it's endless, you know? And then you make the goals, and then you just try to reach them, and if you fail, it's not really failing. All it is, it's learning experiences, you know?
Because, like, at the end of the day, whatever goal you want to achieve, whatever dream you have, there's gonna come risk with it. You're gonna have to take a leap of faith. You're gonna have to take the risk. It may sound corny, generic, or whatever. A bird is the biggest example of that, because the only way they learn to fly is by falling a few times. That's the only way they learn to fly.
And
go ahead, man. Go.
One thing is that the way I look at it is when I'm laying on my deathbed, and I'm sitting there, reflecting back on my life. A lot of people, they regret a lot of things that they didn't do when they were younger. I should have done this when I had more energy. When I had more time. That's not a point to where I want to get to in life. That as we're young, I feel like we should have failures. Because we have so much time to experience so many new things.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're a young age, person, I feel like try as many things as you can. And if you fail, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
You get me? Honestly, that's what I believe. Is that I don't want to regret anything that I won't try.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
That's where I'm gonna end.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, both of you said, when it comes to like being on your deathbed and stuff, you want to take those risks because the number one thing that people feel when on their deathbed isn't being scared or anything, it's regret.
Yeah.
Because they didn't take the risk, which is why the graveyard is the richest place in the world. Because so many dreams, so many hopes, where people didn't take those risks and leaps of faith, they all died there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's truly sad because if people would just take that risk, take that jump, whatever, the world could literally be spun on its head, and you have no idea what even if you may think, okay, I'm just one person, I can't control, I can't do anything in this life. You can. You just have to just take the risk.
Yeah.
Just jump.
That's the thing, right? Like,
Don't jump.
know-
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Bad term.
But you never know what doors are going to open for you when
Yeah.
you risk it.
yeah. That's why tons of people as well, like a bunch of these successful people, they say, look at your present, make the most of your situation right now, even if it's not what you want to do down the line. Right? You're working a job that you don't enjoy, something like that. Make the most of it while you're there, because you don't know what door's going to open. But not only that, being at something you don't like to do will push you to do something you want to do. And working a job that you don't want to do will teach you the work ethic you need to have, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like if you're at 16, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think that's something I did well, was when I was 16 and worked at a fucking grocery store, I still worked my ass off because it was just the fact that you are working your hardest, and that will train your brain into working as hard as it can.
It's literally just, it goes back to the mindset, to literally the mindset. If you have the way you look at things, perception. The word of the day is perception.
True. Yeah, I think it's just about changing mindsets of people is like very, until you do it the first time. Once you do something, I feel like you change your mindset truly for the first time, regardless of the reason, whether that's because of a breakup, because something happened in your life, and you change your mindset for the first time, you'll realize it's hard, but it's not impossible.
Yeah.
So I think some people, if they've been living their whole life under the same mindset, right? I'm not going to do this job because, it's stupid. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be in this field for my entire life, anything like that.
Yeah.
If you would change your mindset one time, you'll see that everything will open for you. You'll be able to work harder. You'll be happier, stuff like that. You don't have to constantly be in this loop of, I'm not exactly where I want to be, so I'm just going to waste my time while I'm here.
So here's a good, how do I say it? Good thing that you could practice is that since we're creatures of habit, a good way to start is doing menial tasks. Making your bed, cleaning your house, small things like that. You achieve more in your day, and it makes you feel more productive, making you feel more, energetic to get the next thing going, and it builds momentum,
Yeah.
And so, since we're creatures of habit, we do everything on a daily basis. The patterns, if we break that pattern, and we do something new, the first 3 days are going to suck, honestly.
Yeah.
The first 3 days are going to suck. But if you could stick through it and challenge yourself, you could see better results, more things for you way up ahead in life,
See, that reminds me, I don't remember who said it. I want to say it was some type of Marine receiving some reward or making a speech or whatever. that just reminds me of, he was basically talking just like that. He was saying little victories, like waking up, making your bed, little victories will eventually lead up to those bigger victories. And it all just starts from the small one, changing your, like you said, the mindset and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, those small things are like a foundation.
Yeah.
So how could you build something big if the foundation isn't even done? It's going to crumble.
Yeah.
Just doing those little things helps your brain feel more productive, like you said, but also just get in the habit of doing things you don't want to do. No one wants to make their bed, but the fact that you wake up every morning and do it anyways will trick your brain into, okay, I don't really want to do this. Like, let's say you're a movie writer.
Yeah.
I don't want to write the script today. Well, too fucking bad. Like, your brain will trick yourself into think, okay, too bad. I'm doing it anyways because it has to be done.
I need to get paid.
Yeah, it has to be done. It has to do that. I have to do this for my growth.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Motive behind it, you know.
Yeah,
And that's what discipline is more important than motivation.
100%.
You don't feel motivated to do it, but you know you need to do it because that will push you past anything. It's kind of like, so like Ray Lewis, right? One thing that I really like about him, one thing I try to keep in my head is a why. Why do you do what you do? What pushes you to keep going there? If you don't feel motivated, remember your why, keep your discipline, and push through it.
Yeah.
Because in the end, you will have results. You'll be happy you did. David Goggins, a freaking beast of a person. Probably one of the people will probably use him as an example of peak physical human capability or whatever, right? This man's crazy. He says live on TV. He told him, or Pox, whatever. He's a procrastinator. He hates doing what he does. He doesn't want to do it, but he knows he has to do it.
Yeah.
So he gets up. He doesn't want to go on that 8-mile run.
yeah.
He procrastinates to the last minute. He's like, shoot, but I need to do it. I got to get it. Gets out there, runs 8 miles. This man is a freaking beast. I swear, he's going to run to Mars before we even land there.
Yeah.
This man, holy.
Yeah, it's all about tricking your brain.
Yeah.
It is genuinely about tricking your brain at first, but then it will turn into you're not tricking your brain. You just genuinely want to do it.
Yeah.
Because you remember your why. Even the days you don't want to do it, doing it shows that you want to do it to an extent because you see the bigger picture. It's about living in the moment, in the present, but visualizing your future.
Yeah.
Right? Like, visualizing is super important as well because, like, even from a kid, what did every sports coach tell you? Visualize yourself making that catch.
Yeah.
Visualize yourself making that shot. See it before it even comes. That's what I think kids get taught a lot. It just becomes cliche
Yeah.
and then, like, gets put in, like, the not wrong scenarios, but, like, you don't apply it to other things.
Like, I know already.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I was told that in sports, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you don't even think about it. But, like, what this coach told you is way bigger than sports. He's telling you to visualize what you want to do because if you visualize yourself doing it, you will do it.
Yeah.
And you could apply that to even deeper in sports. I think that's why sports are incredible. Don't take your eye off the ball. Apply that exact same thing to your real life.
Focus.
Yeah.
You get the catch, but you take your eyes off. That throw was something from the universe or whatever. That ball is the opportunity, and you turn your head. There you go. You can apply everything in certain areas that you learned as a kid, and just think about it in a different lens, and then you have a new perception on your entire life and your discipline, everything. Kind of crazy to think about.
Hey, David Goggins, stay hard.
Some real talk right there.
Honestly.
Real talk.
Honestly.
Hey,
Glad this conversation came up.
that's what I'm saying.
Talking about it earlier.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
some people are just like, they think they're young, so they don't have to change as well. They have an excuse not to change because they're young, but you should see it as, rather than an opportunity for you not to change because you're young, so you have time to change.
Unlike if you change when you're in your 30s, then you have a midlife crisis.
And
then
you
you're
already have
going
people
through
that depend
things.
on you, stuff like
Yeah.
that.
You don't want to go through that, honestly.
No, hell no.
I've seen too many examples that, honestly, I'd rather deal with everything right now at this young age than later on in life, and I can just enjoy it.
Find your calling, find your stuff now, because then you'll set yourself up so that when you are more mature in your 30s, it's not like, oh, this is my first time doing it. You're like, oh, this is my fourth time doing it. I'm gonna just do it right.
And you're way better handling pressure.
Yeah.
Honestly, when you can
Yeah.
handle it for a long time, you're already building pressure. You can already handle different things coming at you, and just years of experience will add on to that.
Yeah. Yeah, everything's about experience.
Yeah.
You can't be afraid of failure because you just experienced something.
Yeah.
Okay, I did this wrong. I'm gonna do it right so that I can build on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like throughout the most successful people in the world still have failures. Like, you don't think Elon and Jeff Bezos like try to do something with Amazon or SpaceX that fails? Hell no.
Yeah.
They, especially Elon, because he's doing stuff that has never been done before.
Yeah.
You think he's doing the right thing every time?
Oh no.
No.
He don't know.
Yeah.
He don't know until he gets there.
And the argument is that Elon isn't doing anything. He just has his engineers. Okay, these engineers are getting paid 8 figures to do this. You don't think they're failing as well?
Yeah.
Like, Elon's the top dog, but you think these people under him aren't also in the top 1%? They're in the top 1%, and they're still failing.
Yeah.
They're working day and night.
Yeah,
overnight.
it's like these dudes are working day and night, and they're failing. But, it's because they're engineers. They're supposed to fail. Yeah, I mean, then you're an engineer.
There's
Hello?
light at that end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
You go through darkness, you go through the storm first. When the storm passes, you see the sunshine, and you feel more appreciative of everything you have.
Yep.
And I feel like that's the real success that you feel. Well, I've felt before.
Yeah.
So
That comes down to the whole thing. Like, Mark Cuban said it. Don't know if I 100% believe it. He said on Shark Tank one time, kind of hard. He said, I would rather make $75,000 a year doing something that I made than get paid, what was it, like 500,000 or something, 500,000 working for someone else.
Yeah.
To an extent,
And he walked off.
yeah,
That was kind of hard.
I mean, to an extent, I don't know. 500 grand to 75 grand is a lot. But I'm just saying, you'll be more appreciative of what you have because you did it.
Yeah.
You weren't just handed it down. You weren't just put into the situation. You did it. You worked to get yourself into the situation.
Yeah.
So you'll be more appreciative of the stuff you have around you. Even if someone is making more money than you, you'll feel more appreciative. You won't even look at them, won't even be jealous because I'm happy where I'm at. I worked to get to my spot.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep working to keep progressing. It doesn't matter.
yeah, going back to that, I would rather the 75,000 than 500,000, and here's why. Because it's the same with like surgeons. They have to work 16-hour shifts, but they get paid good, 6 figures.
Yeah.
But you rarely get to see your family. You rarely get to do any of the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
So you have no time, but you have all this money.
Yeah.
And unlike, if you make 75,000 on your own, you have time plus money.
Yeah.
I'd rather that easily.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, if that's what it comes down to, 100%. But he didn't give a full scenario, so whatever.
Yeah, right.
But
True.
you know what I mean. But
I see.
it's just about being appreciative of the stuff because you did it. It's not someone else. It's you.
See, I seen that video, and it seemed like almost everybody missed the point he was making there.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to crucify him in the comments, like, is he coming from somebody who makes billions of dollars? Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Understand what he's saying, and then you can probably get to where he.
Yeah, because guess what? They're all broke. They're all broke. So they see 500 grand and they're like, oh. But it's like if you have even if you are broke but you have a rich mindset, you'll see the benefit of that 75 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I don't agree with,
Okay.
we got to wrap the show up, but I'm ready for some sushi. I ain't going to cap.
I'm with you.
I'm
but
just
it's
saying the whole thing about would you rather $500,000 or a dinner with Jay-Z? I'm picking $500,000.
Because Jay-Z ain't gonna do nothing for you. He gonna sit there at the table and say, "Hey, yo, you stupid, right?
That's what I'm saying.
I would have took that 5."
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a good test real quick. It's all good.
Yeah.
We're about to wrap the show up anyway, so this is a good test though. If you change the mics,
So line 1 and 2.
yeah, change mine to 2.
Alright, this one's back on.
Yeah, it should say one line. It should, because it glitches. So it should say line 1 out of 2, 2. That's me. And then line 1 out of 2, 3 is Tyrone. Okay, so we fixed it. Okay, that's fine. I don't know why it does that. Oh, wait, what? Yeah, I swear to God, but like, that's weird. Why does it happen randomly?
Like, I walked away and I randomly turned it off.
But like, it's, what's the recording time at the bottom? We're like an hour, 10 minutes in?
An hour and 15 minutes, bro.
Huh? Anyways, I think that's a good point to wrap up the show.
Yeah.
That's some troubleshooting real time on the show.
It just went off for like a minute.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird. At least we caught it.
Yeah, true. It wasn't 8 minutes again.
Yeah.
We finished our conversation, so at least that was good.
Yeah. Well, good episode, boys. Episode 4 in the books.
Yes, sir.
All right.
If you are watching right now and you are not subscribed, what are you doing? Scroll down, turn your phone, hit that red subscribe button, turn it gray for us. Help us build. Help us build. Also, if you're publicly subscribed and you comment on a video, it shows how many months you've been publicly subscribed for. So imagine down the line when we blow this hoe up and it says subscribe for 5 years. You're a G. Imagine that. Just saying. Go subscribe. It's free. I don't see an issue. I don't see an issue with subbing. It's free. And you get a video and a short every single day. Wow.
Hey, to me, sounds like a deal.
Sound like a deal. Well, boys, it's been real. Let's go get some sushi.
I'm ready.
Let's go get some sushi.
What's up?
See you next week, same time.
Thanks, guys.